Hey YouTube man, Tyrannosaurus there doing another action figure review, and today we are having a look at the Jurassic Park, well it's the Mattel Jurassic Park Classic 93 Tyrannosaurus Rex Off-Road Tracker Pack. Now obviously you can see this is just a box for it. The figures have already been removed, but I'll go through the box quickly just to show what you get and how it's laid out, and so you can see how it looks in general. So the box is a large window style box packaging, and it comes with, obviously you can see the figures within, but it has a plastic tray or a plastic surround, unlike some of the plastic free packaging that they did in the past. Now it is quite a large box, so just be wary while I move things around. You'll probably hear stuff moving around in the box. It's the clamps that hold the Jeep in place. So on the side of the packaging, you have the massive Jurassic Park logo. It is done in a classic Kenner style packaging. And then on the back of the box is where you get the nice whole look of the thing. So let me just move down my light because it's causing a reflection. Bear with me a moment. Let me see, and we'll just turn that one off because it is causing, no, it's not, that's not the one that's causing the reflection, that one's causing reflection. All right, so on the back of the box there is essentially three, well, I wouldn't say three figures. There's a vehicle, two figures, one being a dinosaur, one being a character, and then there is a couple of accessories for said figures. So in the case of Ray Arnold, you get a removable armor piece and a what looks like a stock shock stick kind of thing. And then for the Rex, you get capture gear that is kind of reminiscent of when this line was released. So this homage is kind of a mixed bag. So Ray Arnold was a character that was never done in the original lineup. So this is a kind of all new figure, but it's reusing existing parts to create a new figure, or not new character, but yeah, a new figure of an existing character. It's interesting to note that the character that's driving the vehicle doesn't have the armor on, and it almost looks like he's wearing the shirt style uniform that he has, the striped, the white and blue striped shirt, which is kind of interesting. It's possible they didn't have the figure concept ready when they were doing the promo shots. The Rex, on the other hand, it is an adult size Rex. Now, unfortunately, I can't find it, but I'm going to have a look around. Hopefully, I might be able to find it in between the interim of the review and try and pop it in. But it is based on the juvenile Rex figure from Kenner, as opposed to the large red Rex figure from Kenner, which we actually got as part of this 93 line. And then the Jeep is designed, it's supposed to look like the Jeep Wrangler, but it's also supposed to be a homage to the Desert Tracker, I think, or the Devil Bush Tracker Jeep, which was part of the original Kenner line. Again, unfortunately, my version of that is a MIA at the moment. I'm not sure where it is, but it is a nice version of the Jeep. So we'll come back with the figures and we'll go from there. Here is the set in all its glory. Now I'll just take Ray out of his little Jeep here, just so you can see him. So it does come with a 3¼ scale figure, which is Ray Arnold. So we'll start with the kind of more basic stuff, and then we'll move on to the dinosaur and pretty much go from there. So Ray Arnold is in the 3¼ line. He is done in a similar fashion to the other figures from this 93 line. So here is the Alan Grant figure. Now I don't have the Nedry one to hand. He's actually sitting on his motorbike in another room. And here is the Ian Malcolm, or Tactical Malcolm as I like to call him, because he has these little black tactical gloves on. So these are the figures that were initially released. They're kind of a homage to the original Kenner style figures, which that's why they don't look more like their movie counterparts. They're more a nod to their original figures, except with the exception of Ray Arnold, because Arnold never had a figure, as I previously mentioned. But he is a kind of mashup of some of the Series 2 characters. He looks like he has the kind of trapper armor of one of the Dino Wranglers, I think they were called, or the Dino Hunters, which has this kind of very kind of almost bone armor, dinosaur bone armor motif going on. So it looks like he has like a padded vest on, and then this centerpiece has kind of what looks like a dinosaur skull, and then it looks like a spine piece with rib cage on the back. It is removable. It is held on by two little clasps at the back. When you take it off, he has a fairly plain body. Again, I don't think he reuses any of the parts from any of the other figures, and I do not think he reuses any parts from any of the previous Jurassic World or Jurassic Park Legends or Legacy figures. This is one of the mercenaries, so you can see he kind of stands around the same height as one of the mercenaries, so he's not too bad. And he does come with that one weapon, which is storable on the side of the Jeep. So Jeep has number 27 on it. I'm not sure if that is the same number that was on the Devil Tracker or the Bush Devil Tracker one. He does come with this cattle prod style thing. Now mine is a bit warped, as it was the way that came out. It came in the box, but he can hold it in either hand, so you just have to kind of finagle it into his hand, and he will hold it in his hand. As I said, I don't think any of the other characters have had these gloves, full gloves on. Most of them all tend to have either the half finger gloves like Malcolm does, or they have kind of, you know, open, or they either have shirtless or they have like sleeves that go up to their hands. I don't remember off the top of my head seeing anyone that has full gloves. So he has a really good likeness to Samuel Jackson, which is who the character is based off. It is Ray Arnold from the Jurassic Park movies. He even gave him a bald spot on the back of his head. What's interesting to note is the only way to get the Ray Arnold figure in the Legacy line, which is what these sculpts are based on, was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set, which was the power generator exclusive, where you got a version of him with a raptor, kind of a cardboard replica of the power generator, or the outside of the bunker anyway, the power bunker, and then he came with a swappable arm, or at least, I'm not sure if the arm was swappable, or it came with like at least a severed arm piece, which if you've seen the film, you know the film, it's an iconic kind of scene in the film. So it's like the demise of Ray Arnold pack, kind of similar to what they did with the was it Gennaro set, the what's he called, the solicitor guy or the lawyer. They did a San Diego, again, it was either Mattel Creations exclusive or a San Diego exclusive with the Rex, the toilet, the crushed hut, and it was Gennaro. He's the other kind of main Jurassic Park character that hasn't got a major release. There is a Hammond collection version of Ray Arnold, which is a bit more articulated and it has more options, because he has a full, if I remember correctly, he comes with a full kind of white lab coat, and then he has the shirt underneath, so you can swap out for the shirt look or the kind of lab coat look. But this is the Ray Arnold figure, so we'll put him off to the side and we'll move the other figures out for the moment. And we shall have a look at the Jeep for next. I'm just going to move the Rex out of the way, because as you can see, it has the capture gear on it. I'm going to leave it as is, and we'll have a look at the Jeep, because I need some room to bring in the comparisons. So the Jeep is actually a different design to the standard Jeep, and it has these opening doors, which are kind of they almost look like it made out of bull bars or kind of roll cage doors. It has almost a roll cage like window. It doesn't have the glass, well, it doesn't have the plexiglass or whatever you want to call it up to it. It has two peg holes on the bottom of the section here. It doesn't have the double seats at the back, so it is a different sculpt to any of the previous ones released. And on that segue, we shall bring in the other ones that I have. Now, there has been a few other releases for the Jurassic Park Jeeps, but I only have two of those said Jeeps. In fact, let's move you lot over here out of the way. So I have this one, which is the one with the removable roof, but again, it still has that double seat at the back. And this is the one that came with the Dennis Nedry set, the Spitter Attack Dennis Nedry set. This is the original one that they released way back when they first started doing Jurassic Park figures. This was released as part of the Legacy line, so it's been out a good while. In fact, is there a date stamp for when this one was released? 2018. So it has been out a while. They have reused the mold, obviously, for this. And there was a Ellie Sattler set where she had the yellow rain jacket on. And it's the scene where they find Malcolm and they're basically being chased by the T-Rex. So they have done a lot of scene-specific releases for the line, which is cool. I do like it. But you can see this is a different mold, a different design. The grille at the front is different. The paint apps, even though they're similar in color, it's that kind of beige with the red markings. It is more of a homage to that Jurassic Park Kenner vehicle, because that actually had a giant Jurassic Park sticker on the front of it. Now, the only difference between this, well, obviously scale wise, is that on the Kenner one, if I just move these out of the way, on the Kenner one, and I'm not sure why they didn't do it, because they did that action feature on one of the InGen vehicles from the Lost World Legacy line. The Kenner version of the Bush Devil Tracker extended out here, and there was like a what do they call them, those capture loop things that dog wardens use and animal capture people use for roping around the neck of animals that are out of control. It had one of those built onto the side of it. And then the other thing it had on the back was a missile launcher, which was a tranquilizer missile that it used to launch. And then it had a dino damage mirror or windshield section. So there was like jagged cuts along here, and this whole section would pop off, and it was like a dino damage feature, which was one of the kind of things that was a running theme in the larger creatures or larger dinosaurs in that line. The ones with the real feel dinosaur skin had a dino damage piece that would come out, and some of the vehicles had a dino damage action feature, and same with the command playset. So on the Jeep, on the Bush Tracker Jeep, the windshield would come off as a dino damage piece, but on the Ford Explorer, the bonnet would come off and as a dino damage piece. So it is interesting to note that. If you have any of the figures in this line, even the previously mentioned kind of Legacy line or the kind of generic kind of trooper line or mercenaries from Jurassic World, these guys will fit in quite nicely into your vehicle. And because there is peg holes on the back, you can have a figure up the back. And if my Malcolm would fit in and not fall off, it would be nice. And then just because he's handy, we have Tim Murphy from, I think this is the standard, or no, it's the dirtied one, so it's the one from the Explorer attack set. Get him to stand. He does have peg holes. Yeah, he does. You see him to stand on this. He's having a tough time standing. Yeah, he does actually have the peg holes on the bottom of the feet. I'm not sure why he's not wanting to stand, but you get the idea. You can stand at least 2 characters on the back and have 2 seated. If I remember correctly, the original Jeep had peg holes on the back, had an indent, I think, on the center section where you could put a character in and have the missile launching thing up the top. So with that done, and I'll do obviously a 360, so you can see there's a tire on the back. In fact, some of them have a tire, some of them don't have the tire. The Dennis Nedry one does have the tire, whereas the standard older Jurassic Park one doesn't. But it is a nice, now all these are stickers, so just beware when you are picking it up. Just keep an eye on them. They might fall off over time. The sticker, you know, the glue holding the sticker on might degrade over time and it might fall off. But they are, all the headlamps, all the the floodlights, headlamps, rear lights are all stickers. It's the same across the board on all the other vehicles. So just be wary of that in the long run. Sorry about the noise of everything dropping. But we will bring in the Rex. Now, again, the Rex is a really cool figure. I'm going to remove the dino damage, or the capture gear. The one thing I will say is the longevity of some of the capture gear I would be kind of worried about. Unlike the original capture gear, this is kind of a more rubbery, pliable material. On the original Jurassic Park, Kenner Jurassic Park dinosaurs that came with, the ones that I have, which is the Carnotaurus, or the Demon, is it Demon Bull or Demon Carnotaur? It's a solid plastic piece, but it's only like a head piece, and it doesn't have the neck ring. So I don't know on some of the other ones if it will have issues over time. This is a more solid plastic, but it's a little bit pliable as well. It's not as rubbery feel as the headgear piece. So just bear in mind. Also bear in mind with storage, depending on where you have it stored, it could end up getting dampness on it and stuff like that. So again, be wary of that. So for the Rex, there is some assembly required when you get the Rex, and it's been the same case with this mold quite a few times. Sorry if it is out of focus. Let me just pull back a touch so you can see him or her. I think it's supposed to be a him, if I remember correctly. It is quite a long dinosaur, but the tail section is a separate piece. Now the coloring is quite interesting on this Rex, and unfortunately I cannot find my original juvenile Rex. This Rex color scheme is not new. It is again, because it's a Kenner homage. It is an homage to an existing Kenner release scheme. And if you're not familiar with the Jurassic Park world or the Jurassic Park lines, the older previous ones, it is a homage to the original Series 2 juvenile T-Rex, or young T-Rex as it was called in certain countries, which was it had the real feel skin thing. It had a more smaller snout, which is what this one has. This does retain the same action feature as a lot of the mold brothers of this thing, of the twins of this that share the same mold, and I'll bring in a couple of those in a minute. But it does have that color scheme. Now, if you go looking on eBay for that dinosaur, it is an incredibly hard one to find at a reasonable price, even loose. Because of the way the real skin was done on the dinosaurs, a lot of the paint started flaking off. So I believe the dinosaur was cast in this kind of blackish, kind of dark greenish, bluish kind of color scheme for the Kenner one, and then the yellow was painted on afterwards, and over time that just got worn from play or whatever. It would get worn out, and that flakes off quite a bit. So if you're looking at some on the secondary market, because that's the only place you can get them now, finding them brand new in box would be almost impossible unless you're lucky to find an unopened case of them somewhere. If you were, you'd be sitting on a little bit of a gold mine, because they are quite sought after and quite pricey. It was one of the first dinosaurs to incorporate the capture gear from that second wave. Nearly all the dinosaurs in the Lost World line came with capture gear after the original dinosaurs, but in Series 2, for the Kenner line, which was a kind of continuation of the original figures, the 93 figures, they re-released the juvenile T-Rex in a different color palette. There is actually prototype images that has a more yellow scheme like this, and then some of the actual boxed images, you can see it looks like it has kind of green, and I'm not sure if that's over time that the yellow has kind of turned to green, or it's because of the image in the box. The one that I've seen shows with a kind of green color scheme, but any of the auction sites that I've looked at has a kind of more yellow. So it might depend on when it was manufactured and what paints they used to paint this. It could have changed over time, but it is an homage to that figure. Now, I know I went on a bit about it without showing this thing off too much, but I'm going to try and bring in tape measure so I can get a tipped tail. So from the tail to the snout is around 19 inches. And then height-wise, it is around 7 inches. And then, because the way this thing is designed, it's designed to kind of look like the original. So the original one had the head kind of more up in this kind of pose. Then it did have it kind of elongated. But if you do it this way, the highest point is the neck, and that brings it up to around the 8.5 inches. So some of the other Rexes in this line can do that. For articulation, obviously as you saw, the head can move up. There is a swivel. There is a swivel here. There is the button on the back for the action feature, which is the jaw snap, which is a really cool, nice jaw snap. The way the head is done is the tongue is part of the sculpt. Some of the ones that use this head design, well, not head design, but this action feature design, the tongue is a separate piece. The teeth seem to be separate on this one as opposed to sculpted to the head. On some of the ones I'll bring in, you'll see what I mean by that. The eyes are nicely done. The tail, once you have it plugged in, gives you an articulation point. The legs can move forward and back. I haven't actually moved them on mine. There is a swivel at the foot. Now, bear in mind, it is held in place with those little tab things when you get in the box. The arms are on a swivel and have a small hinge. You have to be careful, though, with the hinge, because it is only on a certain spot. So if you're moving a hand, you just have to remember which way it is pointing. But there's a hinge on it, and you can do 360 with that. The legs are movable. You can see they can move in and out. They should rotate, but they have a locking mechanism to lock it into kind of the default position. And when you move that first, it will kind of probably sound like you're breaking it, but it shouldn't affect it after that. But I haven't moved the legs on mine. I left it in the kind of default position. So it does have that. And I'm going to try and push this guy back as far as I can get him. I'm going to move up the head. And what I'm going to do, hopefully this works. Actually, I might do it the other way around because it might be easier to showcase it. I'm going to bring in one of the other Rexes that I have. So I believe this is the very first one that uses this body style. So you can see it has that same neck kind of joint. It has the opening. I can do the mouth on it. It's very tight on this. You see the opening mouth, and you can see where I mean about the tongue. Tongue is a separate piece, and the teeth are sculpted as part of the head on this. So I'm going to move it back a touch. Hopefully it's not going to knock everything in. I'm going to move the tail up. So you can see the difference in the heads and the snouts. This one is a lot more longer. This one is more, it comes to a more abrupt front on it. It's more wider. This one, even though it retains similar kind of the gums and the tongue piece, it has this is meant to be Rexy. In fact, I believe this is the set from the this is the Rex from the Assault, the Explorer set. Because if I remember correctly, my original one of these, the tongue didn't move out as much. It kind of matched the bottom jaw when it moved. So you have this one, and then I have the Lost World Rex, which is this one. I'm going to move good old Rexy out of the way so you can see Lost World Rex next to this. Now, I'm not sure if this is the one that came with the Malcolm set, or if it's the one that came with the other set, because there was two of them released, and I got one loose on its own without all the other stuff. But I think this is the one that came with the with the vehicle set. And this one, as you can see, it doesn't have the tongue as it's part of the sculpting, just similar to how this one is done. Teeth again are actually sculpted as part of the head, so they're different, but if you have the same motion, different head again. It's very similar to the previous one, but it is slightly altered. The original Rexy head had scarring on it, whereas this one doesn't have the scarring. Like every Rex that they've released with this kind of mold has been slightly retooled for the most part, so the heads are slightly different as they went along. but overall it's the same kind of sculpt, similar body. I think they've reused the body a couple of times. Same leg pose. Some of them had slightly wider stances, some of them had slightly less wider stances, and then you have the head that can position down. This one has a tighter joint on the head here, so you can get to do that, or you can do the kind of more up pose. But again, it is what it is. It has some really nice looking features. And if you're wondering, so let me get you out of the way. You can, if you have this set and you have one of these sort of Rexes, it is possible and it is doable. You can show the capture gear over this Rex. Now, it may depend on which head sculpt it is, because some of them have, as I said, have a slightly different head sculpt. But for the most part, you can reuse the capture gear on this Rex as well. So you kind of can recreate that scene where the bull Rex from Lost World is captured, even though I don't think this is supposed to be the bull Rex. I think it's supposed to be the female Rex. I could be wrong. I know I made a mistake at one point having the two of them post pictured together, and someone's pointed out that was the same. It was supposed to be the same Rex, but I always thought both of them had the same coloring pattern. Although I think the female Rex had one more akin to how Rexy looked, and then the bull Rex had the greenish tint to it. I could be wrong, but it is a nice looking Rex set. But this 93 set is really nice. Now, I got mine from Smith's here in Ireland. They only just started dropping there in Smith's, so if I can, I'll throw a link to in the description to where I got it. It is a nice set. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but if you order online through Smith's, it is free shipping, so just bear in mind that. And that's delivery to Ireland. I'm not sure if that's free shipping from Smith's in different countries. I know this set was available, I think, for a couple of months already in other Smith's sites in the European market, but they only released this over here in Ireland recently. So overall, it is a nice set. It makes a nice addition to the 93 stuff. I do wish going forward that we might get more 93 products. I don't know, because I think because Legacy has been rebranded as, is it Legacy Rebirth or Revisited or Reimagined? I'm not sure if 93 is going to get any more than what we already have gotten. So far, I have gotten everything they released for the 93 line so far, because I was really excited to get them. I've done reviews, I think, for everything so far, so if you want to flick back through my channel and have a look-see, you should be able to see some of the 93 stuff. But overall, it is a very nice set, and if you're a fan of Jurassic Park, or even a fan of the old Kenner style Jurassic Park stuff, it is a nice set to pick up. And because this is a nice replica of or reproduction of that Rex that's incredibly hard to get, it's a nicer, more cheaper, even though it is a pricey set, it is a cheaper alternative to getting that Rex, and it will probably have a bit more longevity because it's solid plastic without the real feel rubber, which can deteriorate over time. So it might have a bit more longevity than that. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy it and have a great day. Cheers, guys.